Hi everyone. So I have a new product for you to take part in. This is for J Armor wallets. Now you can get these wallets for a pretty good price. Partially, it seems at this point, partially American made, but they're going to be planning to be completely American made by the year 2027. The fun part is that you can actually see what new wallet styles are going to be coming in 2026. So a little bit about the company. The company was founded by Jake Hernandez, who is also a part of the U.S. Air Force veteran, or he is a U.S. Air Force veteran. So with his business, he is also supporting charities like anti-child labor organizations, veteran support programs, and efforts to rebuild American manufacturing. So this is clearly something that is very important to him, and honestly, really important to me as well. And going to the link in the show notes, which I will say what that link is in a minute, but going to the link in the show notes not only helps support this podcast, but is also helping to support J Armor as well as helping support the charities that he finds near and dear to him. So if you go to the show notes and you find that link, the link is jarmorwallets.com/reality times 2. So that is j-armorwallets.com/reality-timestwo. So I hope you go on and support not only me, but as well as this company. Now, that's enough of me. Let's go back to the episode. Patreon, going strong. If you want to go over there and join in on the fun, we got 3 tiers on Canadian dollars. First tier is $3 a month, where you get these episodes ad free. You also get AMAs once a month, or learn about me episodes once a month. And then on the second tier, which is $5 a month, you get everything from the first tier, as well as coverage of a reality show of yesteryear. That's right now Jersey Shore, currently in season 3. You can also go to the main feed, where there will be the first episode of every season released there. So you can try that before you head over to the Patreon. And then on the third tier, you get everything from the first 2 tiers, as well as coverage from a true crime documentary. We got the backlog of Ashley Madison documentary, Man of 1,000 Kids, Into the Fire, Lacey Peterson, and again, all those episodes for the first episode of each is in the main feed, so you can try that before you head over. So if you are interested, you can head over to patreon.com/reality times 2, and you can sign up for whichever tier you feel for. Again, you can try before you buy, which basically means you can try any tier for a week before committing to it. Even if you are on if you are on tier 1 or the first tier and you want to go over to the second tier, you could still try that second tier for a week before committing to the upgrade. So again, that is at patreon.com/reality times 2. And of course, the link is in the show notes, website, social media accounts. It's all available there. Welcome to Reality Tea Times 2, the podcast where we discuss all the trash reality TV we love to hate. I'm Tanika, and today we are going to be discussing the 3rd episode of Seeking Sister Wife. Don't have any hot goss on top of the episode. However, just again as a reminder that the true crime documentary for October on the Patreon third tier is Abducted in Plain Sight. So there will be a bonus episode that will be available on next Friday, whatever day that is. I think that's the 20, just kind of looking on my calendar here. I think that's the 24th, I think. Yeah. Anyways, it's the 24th, I believe. So that's when you can expect that bonus to be on the main feed. So you can take a listen before you head on over to maybe listen to the rest of it. But, anyways, let's just jump right into the reason that we're here. And that's episode 3 of Seeking Sister Wife. So we start off with the Davises. Him and Teresa are going to be going on a date. The weird thing about this, it's like, it feels like he's the one. I mean, we have seen dates before between Nick and Dannielle, for example. But it feels like him, like, walking up to the restaurant, or she's there waiting for him. It feels so, not saying that that's not okay and that women can't be the ones waiting on the man, but it just feels so weird. The whole thing feels weird. But she says that she's been feeling him for a long time. Why? But anyways, but she says that she was in a relationship. Um, but she said, I also want to just risk it all for this guy. Seriously, seriously. Like, bear with me here. For this guy? Him? Okay. Not me, not I, but whatever floats your boat. Um, he then says in this moment, like, I don't know if it's obvious, but I'm full of myself. Oh, sir, that was obvious. That was obvious from episode 1 of the first season that you were on. We know. He says that he thinks very highly of himself, which, like, again, it's not a bad thing to think highly of yourself, but I'm just trying to say, but this guy won't, like, jump on someone because maybe they don't feel the same about me as I do them. Or sorry, that I do about me, not about them, but I do about me. And I'm just like, okay, good to know that you, I don't know if humble is the right word to use, but you at least lead with caution, I guess. Like, I don't know. This whole thing is weird. This whole thing is weird. Um, but again, I feel like here's my thing too. Isn't it their dynamic that the wives are the ones that are the first point of contact for anyone who comes into the family? Um, I mean, him approaching anybody, should that actually be happening? Should he be approaching anybody? You know what I mean? But they didn't talk about, like, um about this bell that was, you brought to me in my past life, and I just had to find you in order to have it be rung, or you ring it, or whatever the fuck. I'm like, this guy, like, this guy, this is the guy who think you're literally out here being like, you can ring my bell, ring my bell. This guy. Like, and this whole thing about there was this bell in a past life and I just need you to ring. This is stupid. This is stupid. No one's ringing anybody's bell, especially this guy. Anyway, um, he asks, do you need more from me in the relationship? Which, I will kind of give. At least he is aware that, it's not all about him and his needs. He does have to think of everybody else's needs. So I will give him that. So I'm thinking, great, this is a perfect time to make sure everything is being fulfilled. But again, they've only been at this for 6 months. You're still kind of in a honeymoon phase, you know? And the only thing that she can think of, the bar is so low for this woman that she literally says, "Just cuddle me more. That's it? Just cuddle you more?" God damn, I feel like, again, I think even 6 months into my relationship, I still could have said more than cuddle me more. I feel like he cuddled me more then, come to think of it. Maybe that is something I need to bring up. But anyways, it's the bar is so low where I feel like either it's she doesn't want to rock the boat or she doesn't think as highly of herself as maybe she should be. I don't know what it is, but the bar is so damn low that the only thing you can think of is after sex, because let's face it, this isn't about just cuddle me while sitting on the couch with everybody or something like that. This is cuddle me more post sex. It's just, okay. So, anyways, they leave. They're gonna go back to the house. The thing that I can't, first of all, don't lift me. Don't lift me. I am not two. Don't lift me, you know? But she lifts him so easily, and nothing against it. He's a short king. That's fine. Not a king. I take that back. But whatever. It's fine. But Jesus. I didn't think he was that short, but she's very tall, so. Um, so they're back at the house. And Teresa's like, I would love to add someone to the circle. Ma'am, you just got here. You just got here and you haven't even been initiated into the family yet. If they were to bring somebody into the family, she doesn't have a say in that, I would think, because she's just the girlfriend. And I feel like, shouldn't you bring her to wife status before you think about bringing somebody else into the family? But you bring her to wife status, wait a year or so, and then you bring somebody in. The fact that she is so quick to this too, it's like, that's weird, I feel. Like, why are you so quick to bring somebody? Listen, do I think that Dannielle was maybe, under the circumstances, a little bit unreasonable with not wanting to add to the family? Sure, because you had to have known that eventually they were going to be ready to seek again. So that was unreasonable on Dannielle, but clearly she was not meant to be here, and that's okay. She wasn't a part of the universe. Um, but this extreme of wanting to bring somebody in when you yourself haven't really been officially initiated into the family seems like a whole other extreme too. It's very weird and a little off-putting. But she says that she wants to marry someone too. Know who she wants to marry is Nick. Y'all, she doesn't want to marry another woman. She wants to marry Nick. From the moment I saw this woman on the previews, I'm like, this woman's gonna fuck shit up. She's gonna rattle feathers. She wants Nick to herself. That's what she wants. But she's like, I thought that was going to be Dannielle. She was going to marry Dannielle. But ma'am, we didn't know who you were. We didn't know you existed. We did see a date. It wasn't you. We didn't see you. Who the hell are you? You know what I mean? You thought it would have been Dannielle, but ma'am, Dannielle, we didn't know you when Dannielle was here. Who was that chick? We saw someone else who was really into the spirits and stuff, or that's not right, but you know what I mean? She She was very spiritual. That's what I remember. I think she was a brunette. But anyways, we did not know you. So how can you be out here being like, oh, I thought I was going to marry Dannielle? I could have told you you were not marrying Dannielle. I could have told you that Dannielle was not going to be sticking around long enough to marry anybody. I'm just saying. But she does ask this question, which I also feel was a little off-putting. But she does anyways, and she says, hypothetically, bear with me here, if she wanted to come back, meaning Dannielle, what does that look like to you? We want to know how it looks like to them? Well, April is like, hell no. Like, something really big would have had to happen for April to want to see Dannielle come back. Nick is like, I'm good. So, no. It's like, I'll always have love for Dannielle, but it's a no from me, dog. He doesn't want that. Um, Jen didn't even say anything. Jen said something, I don't know what she said. Her hair, though, on the other hand, probably said, "We'll kill her if she came back." I don't know. Her hair, my God. Um, but the consensus is hell no. They they have love for Dannielle, but they do not want Dannielle back into the family, which is totally understandable, which is why it feels to me that this woman who wasn't not here when the whole Dannielle thing was happening, we witnessed some of it happening. She took off 2 years into the marriage or the relationship or whatever. She took off and was living outside of the home, got a new place, the whole bit. That was traumatizing to them. So I can barely believe that they would have let Dannielle come back into the family. That's confusing. So, anyways, April and Jen are going to go to bed so that Nick and Teresa can go into the hot tub. Hot tub, no big deal. They go into the hot tub all the time. It's just on a Tuesday. It's weird as hell. Like their interactions with each other is so weird. I mean, to be totally honest with you, his interactions with everybody is really weird, but I felt it with Danielle too. And I feel like I've never seen him kiss April, like ever. Um, I feel like Jen is his favorite wife, let's be real. But it's just like if when he's kissing Teresa, it's just weird. It's not like it looks like you're kissing someone you're actually having some form of intimacy with. Like, he's literally it's like you're kissing each other like you're children without opening your mouth, you know what I mean? It's just so weird the way they kiss, it's so weird. It's cringe, I can't. And then there's also this I don't wanna say Amazonian, but kinda woman. She's gorgeous, don't get me wrong, but it's just she she's her. And then there's Nick. It's just it's just it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me. The it just doesn't I don't know. But anyways, the hot tub then leads to going to the boom boom room. Are you allowed to sleep with each other in the like sleep? Yes. Are you allowed to like sleep like, you know, snoring in the boom boom room? Like, what if you just, like, stay up there instead of going back down to the big bed with everybody else? I just have questions. But anyways, they're gonna go do that and cuddle later, cuddle after it's done because that is her low bar expectation. Anyways, we are done with the Davises. Let's move on to, the Merrifields. So it's her birthday party. And I have so many questions. We're really going to get into this whole situation. First of all, I feel like we were not told that this was her birthday party, or maybe I missed something in the second episode. But I thought this was a party for Lorrana. I did not realize this was actually Danielle's birthday party, which then brings me back to this other point that I brought up in the second episode. If this is Danielle's party, why in God's name is Garrick wearing the crown? Why? That is feels inappropriate when it's Danielle's birthday. I'm just saying. So we got a family of criers, apparently, as Samantha says, which is really true. Because then we do witness Danielle crying. Garrick cries. We all cry. And it's like, I have a question. This is not to disrespect anybody, but I'm about to say, is this a polygamous thing that people like if people a part of the polygamy just start crying all the time? Because we have it with Dannielle and Garrick. Robin from Sister Wives cries a lot. A lot. This season it's actually amazing. We made it to the second episode without her crying. It was that's that's a win in my book. But it's like this is like a thing. where like we cry a lot. It's weird. But back to the prenup conversation that we were having in the second episode, that he actually calls a prenup. Prenup. So wait. Let me get this straight. What happens when the sperm is sitting in your ball sack? Does that automatically mean that you are supposed to be smart? Or do you need the act of ejaculation to be considered smart? You know what I mean? Because you, sir, produce the semen. So wouldn't that then make you smart? Because then if you were smart, you would know it's called a prenuptial agreement, not a prenuptial agreement. You know what I mean? Rodney, poor man, just had an accent. He is saying prenup, though. He's just saying it with this accent that he has, which makes him say prenup. Okay. So I just have questions because to be out here saying that ejaculating into women gives her smarts, it's amazing then because you're an idiot. Wouldn't the host have to be smart too? I'm I'm talking about semen way too much right now, but I'm just trying to, as I said, understand. But they apparently have reached out to a lawyer that has not returned any of their calls because he probably got the backstory. He's like, no thanks. No. Or he actually watches this show or he knows his wife does or something. And he's like, no, no. But then again, if he was like a really great husband, he would have taken on this client and told his wife about it later. Technically, you're not supposed to do that, but it's fine. Um, but they ended up finding a do-it-yourself prenup instead, like a lawyer's website where you can fill in the blanks. So I have another question. Actually, question and commentary, because this is what I do. This is a podcast. Are you just gonna fill in the blanks? Like this is like fill in the blank type quiz or something. You're gonna fill in the blanks for the prenup, sure, the prenup, or as Garrick says, prenup. Um, you're gonna fill that out on this website. Are you then just gonna have her sign it, and we're good? Because I hate to give you advice, but the thing is you can't just go and sign a prenup and then be done. It's fine. It's legally binding. You maybe want to go ahead and get that, I don't know, notarized. And I feel like you need to make sure you do that too. It doesn't just end with filling out a prenup, signing said prenup, and then we're on our way. You know, I feel like you need to make sure that it's as legally binding as humanly possible. I'm just spitballing. But we then move on past this prenup talk conversation. The cake that we're having is actually not even a cake. It is a lemon meringue. Okay, I have another comment to make. Listen, whatever floats your boat. If you want lemon meringue, go ahead for it. Um, no. If you're gonna have a birthday cake, it needs to be an actual cake. Vanilla, chocolate, red velvet, marble, whatever floats your boat. It needs to be an actual cake though. You can't listen, if I could, if this was actually rules out the window and I have a birthday thing and I'm gonna have a cake. If I could have a pumpkin pie as my cake, like that I would have done it. But that's against the rules. Okay. Pies are meant for your own time. Okay. Birthdays, you should have a cake. If you want it to be a lemon cake, fine, go ahead. Lemon cakes are delicious. Not a pie. Not a pie. I think that's, like I said, against the rules. But let me guess. Was this actually for Dannielle, or did Garrick say that he wanted it because he's the king of the birthday party, apparently? I just have a lot of questions. Um, But Dannielle says, last year on my birthday, he proposed to Natalia. This year on my birthday, Lorrana's here. Is this on purpose? Is this on purpose? Is this literally like, oh, we're gonna be here in Brazil, um, or what was in Mexico, whatever, when Natalia's here? Oh goddamn, I should propose to her on your birthday, Danielle. I should do that. I should propose to her on your birthday. If my man said that he was going to propose to another woman, which absolutely not, but if he were to say that to me that he's going to propose to another woman on my birthday, he's being murdered. Okay. And I will hide the body. No one will ever know. Okay. And then you decide that we're going to and I know the visas are time sensitive, but it had to be on her birthday. Something tells me they had another week. You know, did it have to be on her birthday? Because then we'll talk about it. But like on her birthday, Dannielle, please open your eyes, smell the roses. Your husband hates you. Your husband hates you. Okay, he does these things on your birthday. Um, he calls you big wife because, well, you're bigger. She's not, mind you, but it's just like he hates you. And then God damn, I want so much more for her. I really do. Anyhow, the next day, Danielle actually got to spend the night with Garrick. I'm shocked. Apparently, the only reason this kind of happened, I guess, is because Lorrana insisted on it because it's her birthday. Let her get dick down on her birthday. Can you imagine that this would have happened? He would have had this woman come to their home on her birthday, and then he would have dicked down Lorrana on Dannielle's birthday, and then he would have completely left her alone to sleep by herself in the sister room on her birthday. That's what would have happened. Lorrana is like, you know what? No, you should be with our husband on your birthday. So that's nice of her. But Garrick was probably pissed that he wanted to spend the night with her. He was pissed. He was pissed. Anyway, um, they are starting to move her stuff up to the sister room, Dannielle. And Dannielle is like, I think we need to establish a schedule in order to make sure the sheets are being changed. I want to barf. Because true, if you are or if you are having sex every time you're sleeping with him, and when one of them is on their period, they don't get to sleep in that bed for the entire duration of their period. You know it. This man is like because back in the day, women used to be scorned when they were on their period because blood is ew. When period blood is one of the most cleanest forms of blood, but I digress. But that's kind of what happens. So you know that at least that eliminates that, right? But when they are having sex, like, yeah, they need to change the sheets. That's disgusting. But do you think they actually are? Like, I wonder, are they actually changing the sheets? I want to puke. So I then heard this and I had to stop. I'm like, wait, hold the goddamn phone. Garricky, I have to ask this question. I know it's the accent, but this is Garricky. It just doesn't feel right. It's always going to be culty, you know? I can't call anyone else E. Garricky. No, but it might stick. Who knows? But then Dannielle just starts crying about moving her stuff out because it is coming out of her fucking room. The room that she's been sleeping in since they moved into this house. Yeah, I'd be crying too. But Lorrana is being supportive about it because she also understands that this is hard. You know what I mean? But yeah, that is the Merrifields. Okay. Sorry, guys. I had to take a break there. I need to close my window because it's so cold. Okay. So I think I got their last names incorrect here because we never got their last names in the first or in the second or the well, no, the first episode because I don't think they're in the second episode. But I think it's Peralta or Peralta, whatever. Yessel and I didn't catch her name. I can't remember her name. Anyways, so they send talk about seeking, and she basically says that like she doesn't want him making decisions on his own, making plans without her, or at least like including her in what those plans are. And then she kind of goes through this example that is clear that this actually happened. She says, like going to the movies and then deciding to go to dinner and then deciding to go to a bonfire at her parents' house. And then lo and behold, it's then 3 a.m. and you ain't home. That would piss me off too. That would piss me off as well. That is inconsiderate, for sure. He says, because they were friends before, I guess they just have this ease to them, which I understand, but then maybe you shouldn't be dating someone that you solely were friends with from high school. But she just said she does want to take the lead this time around, which I think is fair. And then she drops this bomb, and I'm like, kind of like, what's his face's cousin from second episode? You had me, and then you lost me. Because she says, I don't want another woman to have a child with you. Then I ask you, ma'am, what the fuck are you doing here? You're seeking a wife, not a girlfriend, not a bang mate. You're seeking a wife. It is very possible, sure, you could find someone who decides they do not want to have children of their own. They're okay to have your children, and that's it. That is perfectly fine. But here's what's very clear. I feel like the majority of us do want to have children. And I feel like the odds are going to be against you. And it is absolutely unfair to have someone come in who you're then going to say, oh, but you can't have kids with him. So then who can she have kids with? Some Tom, Dick, and Harry out on the street while she's also in a relationship with you guys? Like, that is unfair. And I would hold resentment. And personally, this would never happen, but if I were to be one of these people who is your candidate and I find out that I'm not allowed to have children with him, I'm out. Like, I'm out. Like, that's unfair to me. It's very selfish on her part, and the reason behind it pisses me off even more. But I'll get to that in a second. It's ridiculous. And here's what's going to happen. They're going to find somebody. And then what's going to happen is he is going to get her pregnant, whether by on purpose or by accident, because you can't fucking control what happens within their sex life. That is not privy to you. So that's what's going to happen. And then what's going to happen? It's going to either ruin their marriage, ruin the entire relationship. I don't know. But like this is a recipe for an absolute disaster. But as I just said, he says, like, wouldn't that be unfair? And she says, like, I don't want that. I don't give a fuck what you want. This isn't just about you. And he does say it later, and I agree with him 100%. Like, I don't particularly like Yessel. I think he is an idiot. And I felt for her. I did. And I do on certain points. But this, you lost me. And I think she is way over her head. Either that or she is purposely sabotaging this before it even happens. Either way. Which then in that case, if you are sabotaging this purposefully, that is a conversation that you need to have with your husband saying, I don't want to do this. Done. You know what I mean? Because again, if you're only truly doing this because he fucks off on his work trips, get a friend, get a support group, get a therapist. I don't know what to tell you. So, but she says, I don't want to conceive again. No one said that you wanted to. because if she does, that's not, you know what I mean? But if they had a girl, she couldn't stand that because she wanted a girl with him. First of all, gender is a construct, okay? It doesn't matter. Listen, I was of a belief that I wanted to have 4 kids, 2 girls and 2 boys. And that's ridiculous, but those were thoughts of a 12-year-old, you know what I mean? That's ridiculous. It would be nice to have a boy and a girl, at least. But if that's not what is meant for me, then that is not what's meant for me. It's just not. And I will be okay with that. And let's just say hypothetically, this will never happen, but hypothetically, me and my partner are going to enter into a polygamous relationship and he's going to have children with that other person. If they end up having the gender that I didn't get to have, then that is okay. I'm going to be fine because at the end of the day, I still have his kids. I still have the kids I have with him. So it's just really unreasonable thinking on her part, to be totally honest. Um, but again, the other thing to this is just to keep it scientific here. The gender decisions, scientifically speaking, is not on you, girl, as a woman. We have one chromosome, that's X. It is his decision of who he decides to make, or not his decision, but you know what I mean. It looks like he is a boy dad. So chances are that probably would continue. 'Cause I don't think he has girls. I think he has all boys. I could be wrong, but this just is ridiculous, honest to God. But he wants to get the ball rolling because he does have to be leaving soon on a work trip. So the one thing that he's going to do is tell some of his family that he is seeking. So the one that he is going to talk to is his brother Joel. That's really difficult for me to say for reasons I will not explain. But Joel, and he's coming by so that they can tell him. Because he does say that he had never really told any of his or their family that they were seeking the first time around. His family, he says, is very traditional Catholics, Dominican Catholics, so it's understandable that they maybe didn't feel comfortable telling them. So he says that he's leaving on a business trip soon, as we mentioned, but then he drops the bomb on his brother, just like, we're seeking a sister wife. And he's like, with you and Danny? Anyone know, I want to use this analogy, anyone who is huge Fresh Prince of Bel-Air fans, I think I might have said this before in another episode, the scene with Ashley and, oh, shoot, what's his name? His real name. Jaleel White. Um, when they want to have sex, or he wants to have sex with her. And her response back to him is, together? This was that. No, sir, they're not going to seek separately. They're obviously seeking for them to be doing this together, you know? So his next line after that is, Get Out. Great movie, great movie. He's like, I thought like he was joking. Like, whose idea was this, he says. And they both say it's mutual. That is incorrect. This idea of polygamy was Yessel's idea because he literally presented a PowerPoint presentation to his wife about the cons and pros of polygamy. This was not a mutual. This was not a mutual person's idea. So he's like, what kind of freaky stuff is going on over here? Well, not a whole lot, I really feel. But anyways, he's like, this is going to be weird for family functions, Christmas, birthdays, Thanksgiving, Kwanzaa, bat mitzvahs, July 4th, Labor Day. The whole thing is going to be just weird. And he says, you got stamina for that? That's a weird question to be asking your brother whether or not he has the stamina to take 2 wives. But apparently, I guess so. Anyways. So what about the jokes you're going to be getting with having a second wife? Clearly, they don't care. He says, so are they going to be like taking turns having sex with you? What if she, Danny, decides to introduce another guy? They're like, nope, nope, hard pass. Well, why? See, this is the thing. I don't know. I feel like if my husband is away all the time, then I should be able to have another person who is going to make me forget about that. You know what I mean? Like a man, not a friend, literally. But anyway, he does then ask Danny, like, how excited are you for this? And she does not look excited because she's not excited, y'all. She doesn't want to do this. But she says, I'm okay with raising more kids, but I do not want this woman to have a biological child with him. And just like Yessel, Joel says, well, wouldn't that not seem fair? What if she wants that too? Because the majority, I feel, is going to potentially want to have a child. And if they are with him, they are going to want it with him, you know? And this is kind of when he says, Yessel believes to have a healthy relationship, a polygamous relationship, it needs to be even level playing field. 1,000% agree with him. He said you can't pull rules or pull first wife or any of that. When the relationship hasn't even started yet. But that is the thing. You can be out here being like, well, you can't have children with him, or you can do this, or you can do that. It's not going to work. And nor should that be happening. You are supposed to be seeking a sister wife. She should be just as equal as you are. Let's not do the Cody and Robin thing because look how that turns out. You know what I mean? So don't be doing that. But the brother is concerned about them breaking up because let's be real here. I feel like they are trying to do this to put a bandage over the problems. These two, they ain't okay. These two probably, I feel like their marriage has an expiry date. I really do. Something just is not right. There's more to them, to their relationship that we are not seeing. Something. I feel like if it's not something that happened prior to seeking, it is because of the last person that was a part of the relationship. And she has not fully healed from that. Something's not right. Anyways, that's it for them. Next, or no, I think it's our final. We have the Johnsons. So he wants to get her out of the dress. She does not want to do that. She does not want to have any sex. She wants to have a conversation with him. Um, he says, I'm never too busy for you. But see, sir, that's not true. We know that's not true because you literally just said because of the schedules, you need to be home to make sure the kids are being taken care of. That is not true. You clearly are too busy. Between your kids, between your marriage, between work, you're clearly too busy. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. She says that she needs more. And he asks, would you move closer? And she says, well, you could come closer. And he says, we would love that. But your side of the area is a little bit more expensive than we are able to afford. Which I can totally understand why she's saying you guys can move closer. She probably is in a probably a nice area with nice houses and expensive and all that. But she says, I think the rest of this conversation should be had with Angelica. We see clips of that in the next episode. And she says, like, I'll come by in the morning so we can have that conversation. But then she says, but what you can do to make me feel better is give me a massage. And he says, close off? No, she basically just doesn't want to have sex right now, and I think that's okay. But anyways, guys, that is it for this episode of Seeking Sister. I don't know this episode was long. I talked a lot about everybody except for the Johnsons because there wasn't a whole lot. But yeah, that is it, guys. That is it for this episode. So if you like what you heard, please rate, review the podcast on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Also, don't forget that you can also share us with everyone in your life if you really love this. And I do want to read those reviews. I'm definitely getting 5-star ratings, but I want to read those reviews. So send me those reviews and I will read those 4 and 5-star reviews on the podcast. Also, we're on every one of your favorite podcast apps. Every one of them, including you can find us on YouTube at Reality Tea Times 2. If you want to connect with us, you can do so by going to either Facebook or Instagram at Reality Tea Times 2. You can also find us on Twitter, TikTok, Reddit at Reality Tea Times 2 Pod. We also have our email, which is at realityteatimes2 at hotmail.com. Definitely want to hear from you guys. And we also have our new website where you can listen to all of these episodes. You can review the podcast on there as well. You can connect with me in any way, all the stuff. It's all there. And you can find me there at www.realityteatimes2, all spelled out, .podpage.io. It's there. And don't forget, I also have my other podcast with my friend Mikkel, Next Take Podcast, where we talk about all kinds of different topics. But you can find us on any of your favorite podcast apps over there as well. Or you can also go to YouTube and you go to Next Take Podcast, as well as our website, which is solo.to/Next Take Podcast. So yeah, there's that, and that's basically that. And again, don't forget, if all of this information is overwhelming, we do have all of the links, everything in our show notes. But that is it for now, guys. Thanks. Bye.